So I have Lou Critelli from Engel and Volkers joining us and Lisa English from O'Brien Realty joining us. And we are going to talk about strategies for cost-effective marketing and lead generation. So welcome, guys. Thank you both for joining us today. I'm excited to hear some of your strategies for marketing and lead gen with our agents that are watching today. So I know we spoke a little bit about this in preparation for our meeting, but why don't we start off with what is the difference between branding and lead generation? So Lou, can you tell us a little bit about creating a strong foundation for marketing yourself?
Well, first of all, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Thank you, Anna. I just wanted to let you know that what I'll be talking about mostly would be the branding, and I think that if I'm not mistaken, Lisa English is going to talk more about the electronic portion of it. So I want to go back to some old school things that I think are because one of the things as a new agent, especially as an agent work for us in our office, or most of the people that I talk to that are new agents, is that don't know where to start. And how am I going to generate business, and where is this business going to come from? So majority of everybody has business already. They just don't realize it. Your sphere of influence is probably your largest place where you can go out and get business. You already have these people. They're the people who are relatives and family, friends, and people that you've done business with in other things, or maybe your husband or wife has done business with. So you already have it there, the people that you have to market to. Now the problem is defining who you are as a brand. You are the brand. I was saying this the other day when we spoke that, you know, you are the brand and you have to define, differentiate yourself from the competition.
So I know you had, I don't know if you want to still share, but I know you had a quote relating to that.
Yeah, I actually,
I'm putting you on the spot now, but.
There's a couple quotes I actually like. You know, Jeff Bezos, not one of my favorite people, but Jeff Bezos actually put, you know, brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, right? So establishing your brand, who you are, who you're going to market to, making yourself different from other people. What is that one defining thing that when you're in an appointment with somebody, on a listing appointment, that somebody's going to say, why am I listing with you, Louis? And you're going to say, well, the one thing that's different from me than somebody else. So if you haven't done that, you should be going home and sitting down and figuring out what is that one thing that makes you different or makes you special. You know, there's a lot of good, examples. One of them would be, I'll give you my own personal example. When I came into real estate, I was 26. I really didn't have any clients. I didn't have any customers. I was like most of the new agents that are on here now that are looking for more business. They basically at that time in our industry were saying, hey, look, here's the phone and here's a reverse directory. You know, some of the old timers will know that what the reverse directory was. So the only really way that you had to get new customers was either working with the people you had or going through this reverse directory and cold calling people. You know, I think that marketing electronically is a way to reach out to people that are nameless, faceless people, which is good. I'm not saying it's a bad way to do things, right? Obviously, you could buy leads, you could do a lot of things, but on a budget, the things that you really should be doing is working with the people that you have right now, and the people that already love you, trust you, and would list with you anyway. Most of those things would include the farming. What I was saying is, people, you've probably heard about farming, of course. There's all different types of farming. There's electronic farming. There's farming with by using all different types of electronic. I use a source that actually determines what people's likelihood to buy is, you know, in a certain demographic area. So you could do that, or you can go and do it the old school way and download all your contacts as a CSV file into your database manager. So if you don't have one, you should definitely start off by getting a place to put all your contacts, which is your database management system, a CRM, client relations manager, whatever you'd like to call it. They're all different brands. I know we're not going to promote different brands over another, but there's many different brands that you can download the contacts, and that would automatically let you reach out to this mass number of people at one time. So once you've defined your brand, who you are, who you want to be, you know, maybe it's not even the same persona that you have at work. Maybe outside of work, you're a laid back kind of person, but at work, you want to have a different feel. define the personality, download all your contacts to your database manager, and from there you could put anything in it. You could do a flyer, you could do a postcard, and it cost you $0. So that's just one of them.
Yeah, I think it's, it's great advice, especially for people getting started in the business, and probably something that we don't always do is really defining how you want to be perceived by the public, and, coming up with what is that difference and what makes you stand out. So, it's overwhelming, but it's definitely something that's worth taking the time to put some thought into before you start spending money on marketing yourself, right?
One of the things is really one bad, this is the chance for you, really, if you think about it, to create this whole real estate persona, right? Who you are to the people. It's there's a military saying that tell them what you're going to tell them it, and then tell them what you told them. It's an old military saying, right? So if you think about it, that's exactly what you're going to do as a new person. When we started our company and I went out on my own, one of the things that I had done was I said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to define who our brand is. I'm going to define who I am. Then I'm going to tell people. I'm going to tell people who I am, but then you got to back it up. Then you're going to do the work and be, hopefully, walk the walk. And then you're going to tell people what you did, which is I just sold this, I just listed this. And that's where you use your database manager and get out all those contacts. So go home, figure out, define yourself, who you are, create the brand that you think will work with the demographics that you're selling to. Market to those people by downloading all your contacts into your database. By the way, the database management systems, the other thing that you're doing by building, and I know it's time consuming, you only get out of it as much as you put in, but those database systems are then scalable, and they're also saleable when you're ready to call it quits. If you have 3,500, 4,000 people, I think I have 4,200 people as of the other day, that is something can be sold to either another agent, another broker, people that information has value. So.
Absolutely. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about what you think is important things for the newer agents on here. What are some of the things that they should start with as far as getting into investing money into their real estate business? What are the most important things that you can do in the beginning of your career?
Yeah, so I think in the beginning, obviously you're starting fresh, so money might be a little bit tighter depending on where you're coming from. So start simple. The thing that I say to invest in first is a photographer. Make sure you have a professional headshot. That's the first thing, like Lou's saying, you're your brand. So what do you want to evoke in that photo? What is your unique value proposition, like Lou was speaking to? Like, what makes you you? Are you approachable? Are you professional? Like, what kind of vibe do you want to put off in your photo? That's where you start first. I always did my photos outside in a very natural environment because I realized my unique value proposition is I have a social work background. I'm very approachable. So I wanted it to be a softer, more approachable look. So when you're first starting off, get yourself set up, get a professional photo, and now you're going to use that everywhere, on your Facebook, on your professional page, on your business cards, on your postcards that you're putting out. Maybe you write a handwritten note to your sphere and family letting them know that you're now in real estate, and there's that same photo. That's the original brand, is you and whatever company you're working with. So I think starting there is a good starting point, very cost effective. Obviously, social media is very cost effective. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. And I also think, when I was starting out, and we've all started out, right? So even the most experienced agents started from the beginning. When you're first starting out, you want to go prospecting is really going to where the people are. Branding is putting your image out there so that people come to you. So they do go hand in hand, but in the beginning, you really want to be where are people that are buying houses? Well, they're at open houses. We know that, even though the open house market has shifted slightly because of COVID. I largely built my business off of doing as many open houses for as many agents who would give me the opportunity until I had my own listings. And I really did build my business from there. And also, do not discount the agents around you, especially the experienced agents who have a big book of business. They have multiple listings. There's no way they can service all the listings on a weekend by themselves. Partner up with them. I actually put together a little flyer for all the agents in my office. There were 300 agents. I was brand new. Put my picture on there, right? My branded picture. Again, I'm just reinforcing everything. And I said, here's who I am. Here's the level of service I will provide. Here's what I will do for your open house. Here's how I will report out on your open house. And I actually marketed myself to the agents in my office.
That's
And
awesome.
some of them took me on and said, yeah, you know what? I do need help. I have some extra buyers. I have some open houses. And as a new agent, that was just the little, push I needed.
Be proactive.
Be proactive. Go to where you know people are, home buyer seminar, things like that, where you know people are going to be who want to buy a house
Yeah.
or sell a house, like expireds and for sale by owners. Obviously, that person has raised their hand that they want to sell.
Yes. Great advice. Lou, I know you and I had talked a little bit in preparation about some of the old school methods of, so maybe you have an agent who's been in the business a little bit longer and, they're not wanting to sit open houses for other agents at this point. So let's talk a little bit about some things that a more experienced agent might want to take advantage of. Going back to farming, like the old fashioned postcards that you send in the mail, maybe, direct mailing, sponsorships, that kind of stuff. So any thoughts on any of that?
I definitely agree with everything Lisa just said. And one of the things that she said that is very important just before we get started on this stuff is that, don't be embarrassed or feel like it's beneath you to do an open house, because I just recently had an agent of mine who sat an open house for us. They had 8 buyers with this market that we have right now come in. Okay, so maybe out of those 8 buyers, maybe the people are reaching a little higher. They're looking at homes that might be a little higher, and it'll be 10,000 less. But people do get a lot out of it. So, I know we always say that, some of the old school things are still good. And social media is awesome. I use social media probably more than anybody, Instagram, Facebook. I'm all over it and everything. But what I'm talking about now is like, there's nothing wrong with doing something that would promote your image and make people feel like you're giving back to the community, which hopefully you are. Hopefully you're doing it from a place in your heart that really is a good place in your heart. And I think if you do that kind of stuff too, it does come back to you multiple times over. I do believe in that. So, for example, belly to belly things, running a charity event for your favorite charity. I was asked one time to do something for Center State Hospital, and we did that. We ran a gala to raise money for the hospital. Whatever your thing is, it doesn't have to be on a big scale. It could be just running a little event for St. Jude's Hospital locally, and then running with that with the advertising to support it. A lot of your local media people love to pick up stories like that. As a matter of fact, some of the local newsletters and stuff like that, believe it or not, people still want to read those local papers. There's one that I advertise in, Colts Neck Journal, just because I happen to be in Colts Neck. That magazine, people want to know whose kid got accepted on a scholarship somewhere or whatever else. So there is value there. That's the next step. Now you've gotten some money. You should be reinvesting your money that you get on a closing. I have a rule that 10% of my check goes immediately into my fund for advertising. So at the end of the year, I take that 10% of everything I made and I reinvest it. That's your research. So the next step for people would be doing the mailings like Anna had said, and also trying to run some charity thing, being in front of people. I don't care if it's going out and playing golf. I don't care if it's working out at your gym, participating in your local church, whatever it takes. Be in front of people. If you're in front of people, they're going to be like-minded people. Do the things you like. Don't go out and do things that I'm just doing it just because I want to get business. Do the things you enjoy doing. 1, you'll either be a great golfer. 2, you'll be working out and have a great body and be in great shape. And 3, you'll more than likely meet people with similar interests to you that will like you and recommend you or use you. So a lot of these things in your gym, there's a sponsorship, usually there's a TV. I've advertised on the TV at my gym. It wouldn't have worked if I advertised in a TV in another gym. But the fact that people saw me there and then said, hey, wait a minute, that's you. I didn't realize you're in real estate. So that's what I'm trying to say. Define your brand, like Lisa said. I totally agree that spend the money on a good picture. I see people take a picture in front of a wall. Have a business shot and then have a more approachable shot outdoors somewhere like Lisa said. So that's just some of that's the next thing. Reinvest your money, try to do that kind of stuff, invest in some good quality marketing materials. If your company has them, use the ones that your company has, because more than likely they'll keep you out of trouble. If your company has them, they're probably already branded so that you have the equal housing logo and the realtor logo, and they make sure. If they don't, there are outside companies that make sure that you're in compliance, and you should use those too. But spend a little extra money to get quality materials, because that's going to be your signature to the world.
Yeah, I agree. I know you guys are both very big into giving back to the community. Lisa, is there anything else you can share as far as ideas on giving back and some different events that you do? I know you also do some client appreciation things, so that's a great way to stay in touch with people.
I think I should have been an event planner in another life, because I love events. I'm actually doing a big Thanksgiving event this coming week. I usually have a party, but we're doing a contactless drive-through, get some hot cider. I always get a delicious orchards pie every year. I send out an invitation to my past clients. Yeah, I'm a huge believer in events and sponsoring things. I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce in my town, where our office is. I sponsor pretty much any town event that comes through. If there's a town event, I'm either there as a paid, sponsor, or I'm just there to participate as a volunteer. So I definitely believe in going deeper into your community. You don't have to go wide, but if you have a community, go deep in that community and be part of it. Sponsor, I know Lou sponsored like a baseball team, like that's another option. Events, you can take the events as far, it could be a simple event as like right now a Zoom home buyer seminar, or how to sell your house during the times of COVID. I mean, that's something I would, if I'm a consumer, I'm thinking about it. Oh, how are they doing this right now? That's an event. It could be, I do an ice skating party with the kids, for my past clients, or your sphere, if you're starting out. Not that costly. And you can also get sponsors to help you with your event. So go to the people that you're referring business to and ask them, hey, do you mind co-sponsoring an event that I'm going to be throwing? And for the community, I'm a big brother, big sister, me and my husband. We love that organization. We've done different charities in the past that we believed in, but because we're part of that, and like Lou's saying, that's our world, we invest back in that. We're going to be doing a donation in February. My event is that we do Share the Love. So, Valentine's Day, we do a little promotional thing online, like, hey, it's February, it's Valentine's Day. We're going to be gifting Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the money that we've been collecting over the year. We're so excited. We'll do a little presentation, and it helps that organization get their name out, and it helps us too. It shows that we're caring parts of the community. So I think that's, again, doesn't cost you much or anything to be a volunteer or get involved and be part of your town. Chamber of Commerce, all the events, get on that calendar.
It's becoming that area expert, and making sure people recognize you there, that the business will start coming to you. So,
and the
more
most
you're involved, the more it comes to you.
The most important thing is do it from a place where you shouldn't be doing it. If you're doing it just for the advertisement, because people are not dumb, and they will see through somebody doing something just because they're trying to get business. Be a part of your community because it's rewarding, and people will see you as part of the community doing it genuinely. And because of that, they'll give you back business. Also, one more thing, don't be a shotgun blast. I use this term all the time. I tell people, don't be a shotgun blast. A shotgun, obviously all the pellets go out in a million directions. So when you're doing your farming and your marketing, when you're starting, you can't do Asbury Park, Red Bank, Rumsden, Millstone. You can't. Start off in a small area, almost like hyper localization, really small area. Maybe you're just the lady who has every listing in one neighborhood for a while, so be involved in that community newsletter. And then as you get more money, you can add to it and expand your field that you're going to, that you're going to advertise.
Absolutely. So we just have a couple minutes left before we move on to the next topic, but we didn't really touch too much on social media. So I was just wondering if you guys could both give us a quick, what do you feel are your best practices and how you implement social media in your business most effectively? So how are you reaching your audience? What platform are you using? That kind of thing. So if we could each take like a minute or two on that, and then we'll wrap up.
Sure. I use everything. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I don't really like Twitter, but Twitter. And for a while I was using Hootsuite. That's one of the apps that you can use to manage all that so that you can have one post circulate out to all your sites. There's tons of different ones that you can research if you just go on Google and put in social media advertiser, you know, like manager. There's tons of options now. You can pay to have someone else do it. You can do it yourself through Hootsuite. But I think it is important to be everywhere. Instagram is absolutely my favorite. I just love images. I think they are an easy way for people to get interested in something as opposed to a lot of text and things like that. So I definitely think whatever you're doing, make it consistent. That's something you hear all across the board from all the social media experts. You know, you could have a beautiful post, but if you're only posting once and then 3 weeks later, how much are those people actually going to be thinking of you consistently for, oh yeah, I see her posts all the time or his posts all the time. So just make sure that you're being consistent. And in terms of ads, you know, boosting an ad does not really help you reach people who are actually looking to do what you want them to do, either buy or sell. Boosting ads really just gets, what it's designed for is to have people click, like, share. It doesn't mean they're actually engaged. So the best thing to do for social media is to go onto the Facebook Ads Manager and create a unique ad with like a landing page or something like that to actually capture people. So that's my pro tip for today. Don't really boost, do more of the ads managers. There's a lot more of reaching people who you actually want to reach through that. But be everywhere. Again, professional photos, use good photography, do some things off the cuff, the behind the scenes, the community posts. Like I do video a lot. Hey, I'm just right outside of First Cup Coffee. I'm going to run in and grab a coffee and talk to Bob, the owner, real quick. I'm helping Bob, I'm helping the town, and I'm helping my business. So, you know, think of those things that you can do, but do it consistent.
Awesome. Lou, anything you want to add to that?
Just, you know, I agree with her on the consistency, but also all of the things that you post, you almost have to think a little bit like I need to be Switzerland. You know, I need to be somewhere down the middle. No political views, of course. No, I know that people, even myself, you know, you have your beliefs. I have my religious beliefs. I have my political beliefs, and they're very strong beliefs. But social media, once you become a realtor, you know, you're going to have to use those mediums as the way you need to be using them professionally. Always, if you're posting something, obviously remember there are people out there that are going to judge you by your post. So my page, I don't have two separate pages. I know some people promote a business page over an independent page, you know, your own personal page. I think you should have one page and post content that shows people you're human. You know, here's me selling something, yes, and don't overwhelm them. More than 3 posts, 4 posts a week, that's too much, you know? So there are companies out there, by the way, if you say, I don't know what to post business-wise, there are companies out there that will provide unique real estate content for you. And they'll provide that stuff, and you can either pay them to do it or not. But I don't recommend doing anything more than 2 to 3 times a week real estate related. You could always have a picture of your son or your daughter, or you being a good person or being involved, but don't overwhelm them with business.
Yeah, and I think that that's, you know, a great way to end this, because it's an important thing to point out too, as far as the social media goes, is, you know, we talk about real estate being a people business, and we have to connect with people on, you know, not just a business level, but on a personal level too. So it's important to show people a little bit about who you are, and the business will come to you more as well. And I think Lou, you had mentioned about being careful what you post. You know, remember that everything you post, and even when you comment on someone else's page, that becomes visible to other people as well. So be mindful of when you're commenting on other people's things as well. So great stuff, guys. I really appreciate your time. I think it was awesome. I don't know that we have any specific questions, so I'm going to turn things over to Dawn for our next topic.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.